Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. And yeah, you had to wait a little bit for Thursday's video. Now you're getting to almost back to back as we're back already to talk about yet another important fixture after a massive European high with positivity and progression everywhere to be seen in this Rangers side. We must take that and drop it right in to this weekend's fixture versus Hibernian and continue that winning ways. And let's just hope that European magic of a performance that was utterly dominant was now one off, because by God, it'd be lovely to see it again. Before we do dive into the old video though, just a wee thank you from me to those who watched the Malmo video. I know it was uploaded like 24 hours late and everything like that, but people were still really great. They went back and revisited it and they spoke about the game and everything with me, so I greatly appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. It was funny seeing some of your takes and your SOSs wondering where the hell I actually was. But we're going to get in with the actual video, and if you don't mind hitting the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated, and subscribing, by the way, as we are continually chasing down this 65k already. You know what I mean? A 70k goal was the dream before the end of the season, but we're almost at 65k, which is incredible. So any help would be greatly appreciated if you could help us out on that journey as well. But let's go ahead and get into the old video then, shall we? And as always, before we get to the Rangers end, let's have a look at tomorrow's dance partner and speak about Hibernian, who at my current time of recording sit 9th in the old table. And that is an important phrase, current time of recording, because by the time this is actually posted at 6 o'clock, it might have just changed, and hopefully they're a little bit lower. I'm joking, I'm not joking, not at all. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, again, Hibernian sitting 9th with quite possibly the most hib start to a season you could ever envision, as they have started the season off horrendously, getting their pants pulled down and scudded by St Mirren to the scoreline of St Mirren 3, Hibs 0. That is a fair start to the old season. What followed after that was 2 losses back to back against Celtic in the space of 7 days, one of them at home being in the league and the other one being in the cup competition, as their cup journey ended at the hands of Celtic. But at least they breached the doors of Celtic, because that was important, because you were looking at Hibs starting the old season off having played 3 games, conceded 8, and up to the point they scored versus Celtic they had conceded 0, and there was genuinely laughs, or I should say worries, about this Hibernian side. But they did get the goal there, and honestly they did start to play a little bit better after that, as they started to turn things around. The first one that they started to show a little bit of life in them was against Dundee, the highly fancied Dundee, with how well they started the season, with how well they were playing, and truthfully with how well Dundee were actually playing in the game. They probably should have beat Hibs and put them away early in the game, but they gave enough and they never put Hibs to the sword enough that after taking the lead, Hibs came back in it, and then they ended up taking the lead in the game, as well as Hibs took advantage of Dundee's mistakes and mishaps and obvious errors in front of goal. They got themselves in front, looking like they were going to grab the first win of the season at home with a comeback victory versus Dundee, but they went ahead and Hibs it by conceding a late goal in the 88th minute to rob them of the 3 points. Now we're going to talk about the game versus Kilmarnock. Can you guess how that one goes? That's right, the old Hibs in it happened again, as Hibs started the game off pretty slowly, gone to Rugby Park, which people can have their say on whether or not Kilmarnock's good this year or whatever. Still a difficult team to play against and a difficult venue to actually go, and Hibs again started off slowly but surely, if you will, worked their way in to the game of football, started playing some nice stuff, started popping off some shots, and actually took the lead in the game of football as well, where it looked like they were going to go to a difficult venue and a difficult game and picking up all 3 points, until, ladies and gentlemen, they conceded a 92nd minute penalty. Peak first Ballad Hall of Fame Hibs in it, as they conceded a goal in the last minute of the game to once again rob them all 3 points. And if you look at them all season, ladies and gentlemen, in every game I've sort of spoke about so far, barring the Celtic losses, this team loves to concede late goals, as they've conceded a goal in the 82nd minute, the 88th minute, and obviously the 92nd, as we've previously just mentioned. Hibs and late goal drama seems to go hand in hand. Hopefully there's none of that tomorrow though, because I'm not sure how much black hair I've got left on the old grey Nasher. However, it might just change tomorrow, as in their most recent game of football that trend did stop in its tracks, as Hibs went ahead and had their best overall performance of the season, as they beat down St Johnstone to an absolute pulp and sent Craig Levein packing after the game of football, which obviously the Hibs fans would have enjoyed, sending the former Hearts man on his merry way. In a game they dominated them in every single department. They got the lead in the game, and this time, unlike what they've done previously so far this season, throwing games away, missing chances, they got that second goal, they killed the game off. And despite me saying the trend did stop in terms of the late goal drama, there was still some late drama at the end of the game, writing off as St Johnstone's got their man sent off in the 89th minute of the game. So there is still incidences happening, but there was no late goal sucker punch that day as they picked up their first win, and that takes them to where we are today. And I think with their journey to us now being broken down, I think it's just reflecting on the side itself. Honestly, there's not too much yet different. I would say it's very similar to the Hib sides we've played previously, because normally for these preview videos I like to break down new signings and new tactical tweaks and new tactical changes and adjustments here, there and everywhere. But it does feel a very airy familiarity when I look at this Hib side, because it doesn't seem to matter what manager they change, and by God they change a lot of them. They're still relying on the same players and playing the exact same way. To a lesser extent, it's very similar to the journey we've been on over the last couple of years, but you get what I mean by that. I'm not going to break down any big massive, oh, they do this new or any day that. They play very, very similar. They're relying on the same guys, like the likes of Martin Boyle, who is now back playing phenomenal so far this season for them. By far their best performing player, in my personal opinion, having scored two goals in his last 3 games, and the only game that he didn't score in the last 3 he grabbed an assist in. He's back looking dangerous. His movement, he's maybe put the injury bug that he sort of had picked up and he brought back for when he moved back to Hibs behind him. He started the season off very well. He is their danger man. Pace, movement, they go where he goes. And if you look at every game this season when they've been able to free him up, when he's been able to have a game, they've actually played pretty damn well in, and they get the shots off just like the old Hibs of old. However, where I do say it is a bit of a deja vu in that aspect, the one thing that I still don't see in the Hibs side that I did see 3 or 4 years ago when they were annoying Celtic, when they were annoying us, is that defensive shithousery. They've not quite been able to recapture that, like say the Porteris and everything like those types of guys. You know what I mean? The guys that relish the old firm battle, that get this old stick in the mud, that's willing to do this and it's willing to do that, that's willing to frustrate an entire crowd. They've not really got that, and I think that's why, if you look at their old firm games so far this season in terms of playing Celtic, with how easily they were swatted aside. Now, I know what we looked like when we were against Celtic, but again, Hibs were, especially at Easter Road, pretty damn good, especially against Brendan Rodgers for the amount of years that he's actually been here. But they were just swatted away and put down after 20 minutes. Football never laid a glove on them, because they've not got that nasty player. They've not got that side of their game anymore. They've got one way of playing, and when it goes well going forward, they get loads of shots off. They average over 10 shots a game. Even the game they got scurried by St Mirren, they still got over 10 shots. Besides the games versus Celtic, where again they were just swatted aside far, far too easily. And I think we're going to see a very similar approach to the way they played versus Celtic versus us tomorrow, especially being back at Ibrox. But again, they've not got quite the same bite defensively they had a couple years ago, which makes me think, ladies and gentlemen, despite the danger men of Martin Ball, despite the pace that they've got out wide, despite them scoring a decent amount of goals over the last couple of weeks and everything like that, I feel like if you get a goal in this game and you're able to grab a second, it's game, set and matches. They've not really got anything actually behind that, and that's what we've seen so far. When they have fell behind, when they went 2-0 behind, they've not got quite that bite, and that's what I'm hoping as a Rangers fan we get to see tomorrow. The first goal go in early, second one go in as it should be done and dusted. And that's truthfully how I feel about this Hibs side. Again, they do some nice things well, but again, I think from these types of games, and maybe just the other side of the park, still not being able to replace a Porteris and bring that ugly hammer-thrown antic, if you want, that used to drive Old Firm fans mental both sides of the offence. They've not got quite that bite, and hopefully Rangers can take advantage of that tomorrow by putting them to the old sword. But with that being said, that's us had enough talking about Hibs. Let's get to the Rangers end. And I'm not meaning to sound like Ali McCoist here, but I've got to tell you, son, it's actually refreshing to be able to talk about Rangers right now because of the positivities there, because the progression is actually there. It used to suck so bad, me having to sit here and look yous in the eyes and just give you bad news all the time and negative news all the time, because I know yous love this club as much as I love this club. We want to be happy, we want to be having fun, and it's been tough the start of the season because it feels like, again, it has been the majority of it negative and disappointing. But we've seen a couple little bright sparks again, coming back for the international break, getting that ugly win, building up, as we've said in the last couple of recaps. I'm not going to repeat myself, I don't want to bore any's, but there does seem to be a clear plan of progression, and maybe Clement's words of being better in October, and you'll see the best out of us in October, November, maybe that's where we actually are building new, is all these new players we wanted to see at the start of the season are now getting played, and what a difference they're actually making, led by the man who starred on Thursday night by the name Igarame. And I wanted to talk about Igarame first before I speak about maybe what the main talking point from a Rangers perspective actually is coming into this game, because Igarame for me is something, and it is a complete difference maker. We maybe looked at guys that could have done this, and it could have done this, and it could have this, but they've no been able to do it. And I'm very interested to see how Igarame plays now that he's just had that European high, where he is one of the top 5 or top 8 performing players in the Europa League last week. Chances created, he leads the list. He's had this, he's had this, he's had all these accolades. I'm very interested to see if he can play that well when we get back to domestic football, because it might seem like a daft question, but we as Rangers fans have seen players being able to get up to the occasion of European football, then drop off and have a poor game at the weekend. We've seen that results. It was early in the Gerrard reign, if you remember back then. That's it. It was brilliant on a Thursday, dropping points on a Sunday. We can't afford today any of that anymore, and I'm really hoping Igarame is able to replicate what he was able to do on Thursday as he is on Sunday, as it's equally as important, if not more important, to do it domestically for Rangers. And for me, again, we go as far as he almost takes us these days. I feel like already, just in the building, he is that creative force that I think we were missing. For me, as a Rangers fan, I just hope he goes out there and balls out on Sunday, because I'll be even a happier guy. But speaking about ballsing out and playing well and doing this versus Hibs on the Sunday, am I expecting the exact same level of dominance as we had versus Malmo in terms of chances created, all this space and that? That's not going to happen. And we're talking a lot about progression, we're talking about moving in the right direction. I don't think there's too much higher we can go than what we saw on Thursday, besides putting the ball in the back of net maybe 5 or 6 more times. But again, that was due to a lot of the way Malmo played, in my opinion, that played into your hands, and we just carved them open perfectly like a Christmas turkey, ladies and gentlemen, right? They had to pile forward, they were at home, they were needing to set the tone, and that's why we had so much space. That space isn't going to be there the more, so I didn't need as an eye-watering performance as I saw on Thursday, but I just need to see us seeing and getting over the line and making sure we tick the box of having these new players in that know what the demands mean of winning on a Thursday and on a Sunday. There can't be a come down and a walk in a park and just doing the bare minimum. We need the same attitude, we need the same application, and again, just getting over the line no matter what at the weekend, and that's what I want to see, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take an ugly 2-0 win and sit here and smiling in front of you all damn day, as again, they'll be approaching the game a little bit different than the wide open Malmo, but again, the minimum requirements for this football club is to win, and I think Igarame will be one of the main reasons if we keep on winning. But where that one is sort of an obvious one, and again, it's a sexier conversation point because we're talking about assists and goals. That's what we all love to see. By the way, can I just say before I move on, he didn't get assist on Thursday. He leads the Europa League. He leads an entire European competition for big chances created. Didn't get an assist. Dessers, blood in your hands. Nere, blood in your hands as well. But moving on and speaking about Nana there, I know he was called Nere sometimes in the Dutch football, but we're going to call him Nana as that's what Clement calls him, and it's started to happen around the old players as well. And I want to talk about Nana because again, he had a phenomenal performance at the weekend as well, and we've said many times, if you play well, you shouldn't be bombed at the squad. I'm not wanting to see rotation, I'm not wanting to see this, but at the same time, as it probably makes sense if Nana isn't in the starting 11, considering it was his first start and the effort and what he put in on Thursday. Do we build him up to be able to play twice a week? It is an interesting one, and as we've seen, unfortunately, Clement usually goes for more of the coddling route rather than the balls out approach, so I don't think Nana will necessarily start at left back. But I'll tell you, right, with all the excitement of his performance, we're almost forgetting about Big Jeff Day over the last couple of weeks, who's been arguably our best player in the team. And for me, it shouldn't be Nana or Jefty, Nana or Jefty, because both of them are playing well. Both of them look good. The left-hand side does look good. Dare I say, ladies and gentlemen, now that Jefty is back being able to play, there needs to be a genuine conversation had about playing Nana on his strong side, because that is the area of the part that needs improvement. Barame has improved the creative side of the game. Nana's improved the defensive left-hand side of the game. You look at the improvements we're having with Proper and Suter solidifying that the centre-back position. You've got Barron really strengthening up the middle of the park. Right, where is our weakest areas right now? It's down that right-hand side, and we've got a really good performing player. Why is he not getting a conversation and playing on his stronger side? That's one of the ones. Now, again, I'm not sitting here calling for Tavernier to be bombed out for the Mora, because it's obvious he is going to play versus Hibs. But I'm saying, as a football club, at some point in this season, it shouldn't be one player who's playing well or one player that's playing well and weakening our side by only playing one of them, because they're no the same player. They didn't play in the same position. This shin right here is performing well, actually plays over here. So why do we know? Go ahead and say it. It'd be good to see the team getting put first at some point this season. I'd be excited to see a Nana and Jefty. That's pace, that's power, that's shutting down winger position. It would be very interesting, but considering I've been sitting in front of you saying the exact same thing about Sterling and Jefty, I doubt we'll ever see it any time soon. But I just wanted to have a conversation about that, because I'm seeing a lot of, should Nana be starting over Jefty now? Should Jefty be benched? Nana's not a left back. He's a right back / centre back. Maybe play him where he's gone and improve the squad there, rather than punishing someone who's learning and getting better in Jefty. So that was my conversation point on the Nana Jefty debates. For me, there shouldn't be one. It should be the other side. And I don't know how people are going to feel that, because we know we're on the high of Mamo and everything, but I just see the conversation, it should be bench or bomb Jefty at the squad now. For Nana, I'm like, why? He's playing really well. So that's the way I want to say. And as much as I'm talking about giving him at right back, I'm not saying he should be starting every single week. We've only seen this laddie play once. Start one game for his football club. He might go to the right-hand side and no be good enough. Might not be able to do the actual job. It might have been beginner's luck. You can look at it from many different aspects. Half full, half empty, whatever way you want. I'm just wanting to say is there's areas in the park we're still not as strong as the other side. But there's players there that could potentially strengthen it. And I think that's what we need to do if we're trying to build the squad and move the squad forward. So the next time we play a Celtic or one of these big European teams in the Europa League, we are a stronger unit and a stronger starting 11 than we were previously when we were playing before the international break, where there were clear issues and problems everywhere. But aye, that's my thoughts and opinions on it. We'd love to know yours down in the comment section below. Finish up the Rangers side again. It's just picking up what we've already talked about. We've had that magnificent high of Thursday. Do not drag it down. Do not let this fall away. Let's just keep this feeling a little bit longer, Rangers. That would be very nice. Go out there and do your job for a side that, again, defensively isn't that stronger. That's what they've shown so far this season, that when you do go 2-0 down, their heads do drop and they do fold away. That's what I want to see. I want us to approach the game the exact same way versus Hibs as we did versus Malmo, with the same appetite and everything like that. I wouldn't be against the same starting 11, but obviously rotations will be actually made, especially as I saw Dio limping his arse off at the actual airport on the way back. By the way, hopefully there's nothing too serious there again, but if there is anything breaking from the old press conference, I will let you know down in the old comments section below as per usual. But aye, very interested to see how we got on this weekend. Want to see that positivity, want to see your thoughts down there in the comment section below. What about you? And the only other thing we need to do in today's video is try to predict the upcoming game of football. The hardest part truly actually is, but despite this not being maybe the sexiest guess or the sexiest predictions, I'm going for a cheeky little Rangers 2, Hibs nothing, and I think that would really underline and highlight what has been a great step in the right direction for this football club that started with a great performance versus Dundee. It took us to Malmo, where we had an even better performance and a better result, and I think we end that week with everything that's went into it with a solid at-home no-nonsense win. I'll take that every day of the week, and I'm going with the old goal scorer of maybe Igamane at some point as well, as he's finally going to be able to play in this game. Dessa looked like he was blowing out his arse at the weekend, or at the midweek I should say, and obviously Igamane had a trouble with his passport, so aye, he might get some meaningful minutes and he might put the ball in the back of it. That would be very nice. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully I see you down there in the comment section below expressing your opinion. Until tomorrow after the game, I've been Siege92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye-bye.